Hello and welcome to the Arkansas Weather Blog. We are your ticket to big weather events. Hope you're having a great day. It is Wednesday, January the 27th. I'm recording this shortly after 8 o'clock. Where's winter, Todd? We're not going to have a winter this year. Winter cancel. And it was December I heard that. I mean, it was before even winter officially began I heard that. And then I heard it all throughout January. I'm thinking most of our snows don't get here till February. And here we are. All right. I'm going to go through, I think we're going to have a major storm system, a very huge storm system that's going to affect Monday and Tuesday of next week. And we're on the warm side of this, and I do have some concern for some severe weather. I'm going to step you through this and show you what I think the potential is for this to unfold and how this is going to happen. First of all, this is European, and this is valid Saturday. And this is at what we call 500 millibars, about 20,000 feet up. And you see all these black lines. Notice how they're oriented from west to east. And that's basically what this is telling you, is that there's a zonal flow. And a zonal flow means that you're getting a flow off the Pacific from west to east. And this floods the country with mild Pacific air. To get Arctic air, this has to become more what's called meridional. I can't talk. It needs amplitude. Ridges and troughs, and you need that ridge to be set up across the west coast of the United States typically, and into western Canada to deliver the cold air towards the south, okay? So you're going to have a storm system coming out, and this zonal flow is going to amplify and put in a big storm out here that I'll show you in just a second. I want to show you the cloud chart. Here's one thing. I think there's the potential to get into the 70s, but the one thing that could prevent temperatures from getting to their potential highs to where they could really go with this type of pattern, it's the fact that the ground is still kind of cold, and then you get a warm, moist flow off the Gulf, and it can create a layer of low clouds that can be tough to burn off, especially with a sun angle this low. Still, this time, it's coming up, but it's still quite low on the horizon, but it is coming up as we head towards spring. Notice this is valid. Let's see, make sure I got this right. Yeah, this is valid Sunday at noon. And you're seeing low clouds across much of the mid-south here. And then medium clouds, it's cloud-free here. And let's see, what is this? Total cloud cover. So anyway, you're seeing here that there's the potential as the moisture starts to come off the Gulf of Mexico for a deck of cloud cover that could keep the sun blocked out and prevent us from going to the 70s. Right now, the GFS, I think, has the forecast high around 67. I think there's actual potential, if you're to get breaks in those clouds in the afternoon, to go into the 70s this weekend. But anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there as one of the things that may keep us from realizing the full potential of those temperatures to near record-breaking highs. All right, there are differences in the computer models. Like I said, goodbye zonal flow. Look at this amplitude, huge trough now. All right, this is the European model, and it's valid Tuesday. This is one heck of a storm system. This is the area of low pressure at 500 millibars, the upper level low. Now, when we had that big snow, oops, sorry about that. When we had that big snow, this was located down here. And we know that it's just along and north of that track. That's where you get the wintry precipitation. If you are south of that track, you have the potential to see rain and thunderstorms. So what's north, I think this area here is going to get the big snow from Colorado up to Minnesota, and I think it's going to be blizzard conditions. So remember, when we had the snow here in central Arkansas, this tracked much further towards the south. So now we are going into the warm sector. Now there are differences with the computer models, as you would expect, not large differences, but that's the European, valid Tuesday at 6 p.m. on the 2nd. And then here's the GFS. It has the low further south, holding it back, and looks stronger here at that same time period. It still has the storm system, but strength and placement, as you'd expect, there are differences. All right, from weatherbell.com, this is the GFS valid on Tuesday at noon, and this is at the surface. There's the area of low pressure at the surface over the Texas Panhandle. You see how tightly wound these isobars are from high pressure, 1032 millibar high to a 996 millibar low. I mean, that's a pretty strong pressure gradient. And look at all that snow from Colorado through Nebraska, Kansas, and going up to Minnesota. This is going to be a blizzard, I think, up in here. And that's very important because that does affect our weather. And I'm going to show you how in just a little bit. But we're in the warm sector, and we're looking at rain and thunderstorms out of this. You know, I have these a little backwards. I knew I wasn't going to get these maps the way I wanted them. Anyway, instability. This is at noon at that same time period on Tuesday. You see that there is a narrow tongue of instability that's exceeding, this is CAPE, convective available potential energy, exceeding 1,000 joules per kilogram. This far out on the model does raise some concern for strong to possibly severe thunderstorms going into this area of low pressure. Now, once that passes by, I had the maps out of order, but I want to show you. This is at midnight on Wednesday. We get dry slotted. All right? So the rain moves away. The cold air isn't here yet. We have a dry southwesterly wind. It clears out, but the cold air is lagging behind. And you can see as this low pulls up towards Chicago, Illinois, there's the swath of snow, and I'm going to show you that swath of snow. On the back side of it, you get that dry slot, and then the cold air comes in. And I think there's the potential by the middle of next week for some light snow across northwest Arkansas. Light snow flurries, light snow showers. Very windy conditions. Again, look at the black lines, the isobars tightly wound up. Now, let me show you snow cover according to the GFS. Total snow cover out of this. Yeah, it's showing a little bit in the way of accumulation there, especially in the Ozarks. But look at that snow cover. I told you. Actually, it's more, not so much into Minnesota, but Colorado up through Iowa and Minnesota. This is showing a foot or more of snow in these locations. Now, with that snow cover, and it's pretty extensive, let me go back to this. When you have an area of low pressure right here, and you have strong winds coming off of that snow field that's now a fresh snow field, and you have the air coming off that, it keeps the air from modifying. So let me see what the computer model has for a high temperature. Next Wednesday, this is Wednesday at noon, it has 47. I bet it's colder than that. And that's also trending towards Climo. But I think we go back to, and it's showing the 35-degree line right there in blue, the 32-degree line. This may be a little bit further towards the south as time goes by. So I can't stress this enough. A big storm system coming. We're on the warm side of it. This does transition us to a colder weather pattern. How long it stays cold is another big question. Does the cold air stay in, get locked in place, and another system rolls out, or does it in and out? I can't answer that at this time. But there is, and you may have seen this all over social media, what's called a stratospheric warming event that's taking place. And that's a very strong one. And when you look at the polar regions, the stratosphere, I mean, we're talking way up there, 10 millibars, it warms. And what that does is it pushes the tropopause it's more shallow, it disperses the tropopause, goes down to a lower altitude, and it disperses the cold air further to the south, basically. And so what we see is more cold air intrusions further towards the south. Where that cold air gets directed is the big question. But it looks like there's going to be more Arctic air coming. But again, the big question is, where does it get directed in the long range? So again, is this cold? Does it get in and out, or does it lock in place? We'll see. But there's a big storm we're looking at next week. Thank you very much for coming to the Arkansas Weather Blog. We are your ticket to big weather events.